I grew up in a very multicultural, diverse London with all sorts of colours, black, white, Asian. Everyone was a melting pot. And I noticed as soon as I walked into the world of cricket, comments started.
I went to Australia my very first tour, 75, 76, and I never experienced any racism on the cricket field. But I heard comments, you're fielding down by the boundary. I was never going to be in the slips. I was never going to be in the covers. So I'm down at fine leg or third man. And you hear some comments being passed. At that stage, I just thought, these people are sick.
I had comments about where I grew up and that the fact that I had a long name, maybe my mum didn't know who my dads were, about my hair, about body parts, especially the derriere, shall we say, about the food I ate and that it sort of stank. It was just constant. Did I wash my skin? Everyone in your area gets stabbed. All these sort of things were drip feed constantly.
And then, of course, I came to England in 76 and it started again. But again, I just told myself, and I think most of the team just brushed it off. And I told myself personally, Mikey, you're here for the summer. You're going back home in September.
I've been in team environments. Dealing constantly with people referring to your lot. I'm not surprised that people who come into the environment don't want to deal with that. I question myself why I stayed sometimes so long. I loved the game. I think it has so much more to offer. But it can be really difficult dealing with. That day in, day out.
The Blackwash Series, I think, was 1984. That was my third tour here to England. And I can understand totally why the West Indians called it Blackwash. What came home to me, though, when I started to tour England more regularly and get to meet the West Indians who lived here and get to understand exactly what they went through in this country, was what it meant to them for us to win. And I can totally understand them saying, what is this whitewash thing? Why has everything good got to be white? We're going to call this blackwash. And I was happy that they could identify with something and call it whatever they wanted.
I can still remember the moment I found out about George Floyd. I was lying in bed and turned my phone on. I remember it was the first thing that came up in my story, the video of George Floyd. It was like a short version, and I clicked on it, and I clicked on and I clicked off because the first thing you heard was the words, "I can't breathe."
People could see life slowly ebbing out of the man. And people could see the look on the police officer's face and the look on the faces of the other police officers that were around, as if they did not care. If this man dies, it's just another black man that we have killed.
I watched the whole thing. I watched the 8 minutes and I burst into tears. The pain I felt, it felt like a valve popped, because we know for how long that these inequalities, these injustices have taken place, not just in the US, it happens here. And I remember watching it and just feeling like I was torn apart. I actually swore, I never swear or rarely swear on my Instagram, and I wrote the words, "Is anyone else fed up watching black people get murdered?"
If you don't educate people, they'll keep on growing up in that sort of society and you'll not get meaningful change.
I think it can't be a black person's problem. I'm putting that in inverted commas. It's got to be everyone's problem. We've got to want a society that is representative and supports people from different backgrounds. So for me, that's where it's got to be. Honest conversations, opportunities, people in positions of power, and we can change the landscape.
Everyone is recognizing it. Everyone is now coming alive and seeing the difference in treatment of people. And we're all human beings. So I hope that people will recognize that this Black Lives Movement is not trying to get black people above white people or above anyone else. It's all about equality. And when you say to somebody, Black Lives Matter, and they tell you all lives matter or white lives matter, please, we black people know white lives matter. I don't think you know that Black Lives Matter. So don't shout back at us about all lives matter. It is obvious, the evidence is clearly there that white lives matter. We want black lives to matter now. It's simple as that.